What do the temples at Abydos, Luxor, Karnak, the Ramesseum, and Abu Simbel have in common? To get to that answer, let's start at Abu Simbel, which was built by Ramses II. Although referred to as a single site, there are actually two temples at Abu Simbel, one for Ramses and one for his queen and favorite wife, Nefertari. He built her temple first. Why? This was not an ordinary temple complex built with quarried stone. No, Ramses was going to carve his monument into the living rock on the side of a Nubian mountain above the Nile River. These temples would demonstrate his power and serve as a warning to his southern neighbors. This site is also special in a more modern sense, as it has been relocated 65 meters higher and 200 meters further back, in an effort to save it from flooding caused by the building of the High Dam in Aswan. This international relocation effort took place from 1964 to 1968. The temple was cut into blocks and reassembled on a concrete and steel scaffolding, made to appear as the original mountain, and now sits on the banks of Lake Nasser. So Ramses had his engineers and artisans practice on Nefertari's temple. Then they constructed his temple, using their perfected techniques. On the outside are 4 20-meter-tall statues of the pharaoh. Inside his temple are 2 rows of 4 columns, also with his likeness, and in the very back, in the Holy of Holies, are 4 carved figures of the gods, Amun-Ra, Ra-Harakti, the deified Ramses, and Ptah. The engineers were so precise that the sun shines on this back wall on only 2 days of the year, the pharaoh's birthday and his coronation day. But it doesn't quite hit Ptah, the god of darkness, who is always in shadow. In Ramses' time, and for generations before him, there was a constant struggle for regional dominance between Egypt, the Nubians to the south, and the Hittites to the north. On the exterior walls of Abu Simbel, we see them depicted here as captives. In 1274 BC, in the 5th year of Ramses' reign, Hittite spies lured him to Kadesh in current Syria, saying the Hittite army led by Muwatalli were far north of there and were too afraid of the pharaoh. The city could be seized easily. Ramses raced ahead with only one of his 5 divisions, stringing out his forces in a major tactical error. But the Hittites had been lying in wait for him. They attacked his flank with a crushing blow, and battle ensued. This is the largest chariot battle ever fought, involving 5,000 to 6,000 chariots. When the day had ended, through sheer luck and some bravery, Ramses survived. But both sides suffered heavy losses. The Hittites had been scattered, but Ramses failed to take Kadesh. What did Ramses do? He returned to Egypt and claimed victory. "15 years later, in 1258 BC, an official peace treaty was drawn with the new king of the Hittites. It was inscribed on a silver tablet, a clay copy of which now resides in the Istanbul Archaeology Museum. An enlarged replica is in the headquarters of the United Nations, now enshrined as the earliest international peace treaty known to historians. This battle scene is recorded in no less than 15 inscriptions in 5 temples at Abu Simbel, Abydos, Luxor, Karnak, and the Ramesseum, Ramses' mortuary temple. Ramses II was not just a military leader. He was a politician who utilized propaganda to the fullest. Not much different than our politicians today. Something to remember in this election season. As George Orwell said, he who controls the present controls the past. He who controls the past controls the future. Something that Ramses clearly understood and demonstrated over 3,200 years ago. Ramses ruled for 61 years following the Battle of Kadesh, until his death at approximately 90 years old. He is one of the longest-serving monarchs in Egyptian history, and certainly the most celebrated.